much for that introduction. I'm going to start us off, but Sagar and myself will be going back and forth throughout the course of the presentation, so you don't get tired of listening to just one of our voices. So without any further ado, unless Sagar, you'd like to say any welcoming remarks for yourself?
No, I just wanted to make sure you can hear me. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, that's good. If you can hear, I think the rest of the people. No, I think this is a wonderful opportunity that you guys gave us. We are going to show you what we have in platter for all of you. I think some of you know about CDMRP, but many of you do not. And with the interest of time, we are not able to discuss anything and everything. So we'll give you some teasers. Please, we would suggest that please visit our website and you'll find more information there. Amie, go ahead.
Wonderful. So a little bit about us for those of you who are not familiar with the Congressionally Directed Medical Research Programs, CDMRP. Our mission is to responsibly manage collaborative research that discovers, develops, and delivers healthcare solutions for service members, their families, veterans, and the American public. We do this with a lot of help from outside people. We fund research not just in the U.S., but all over the world. As we might have heard in our bios, we do have what we refer to as a two-tiered review process. Both tiers involve a blend of scientists who are at the bench, clinicians who are seeing patients, consumers, which for CDMRP speak, they are people who are living with or diagnosed with the various diseases, injuries, conditions that our programs fund research for. It can be their family members, their caregivers, any of those fall under the umbrella of what CDMRP refers to as consumers. And why are we here? We exist because of those consumer efforts and people within those various communities realizing that more is out there that can be done for their communities. And so we're here to do what we can to fit those needs. As an organization, we did start back in 1992 because of those consumer grassroots efforts, and we have grown quite a bit since we started off with a program of one, which was the breast cancer research program was our original research program. There are a lot of things that we like to think that sets us apart from other funding agencies, so I won't read all of these to you. You can find out more about these in various places on our website and other materials. But we really try very hard to distinguish what we invest in. So we do our landscape analyses, we get input from our various stakeholders and really try to target specific gaps and address high priority needs for each of our research programs, and really focusing on improving the health and well-being of those affected by the various diseases, injuries, and so on. Each program has an annual vision setting where they assess what's going on in their respective fields, seeing what other funders and advocacy and everything else are doing with their funds at their availability, and really making sure that we're staying on top of what needs to be done and that the funds we are received from Congress are used to their best ability. As I mentioned, we are a very collaborative organization. At the heart of this is those consumers. We refer to them as the true north of CDMRP. They participate in our vision setting meetings. They're part of our programmatic panel that helps set the vision and mission for each of our programs. They are participants in the peer review process. And many of our programs have started putting into their funding opportunities either a suggestion or a requirement that our funded investigators also bring in consumers into the fold on their research teams and giving them a voice in the questions that are being asked and the communication of those funded efforts to the relevant communities. as far as how our funding works, if someone is to receive an award from CDMRP, all of that funding is obligated up front. There are no out-year budget commitments. So if you receive an FY25 award that's $1 million, then that whole million, but it's a 3-year award, that $1 million is obligated to you up front. And you don't have to worry about it going away in the out years, but you also won't be able to add on to it along those lines. Some of those other partners and collaborations, I've touched on the consumers quite a bit, but as far as when we're collecting the information for our strategic plans, our investment strategies, and so on, we also, as appropriate for the program and the area of science, we will collaborate with any number of other government agencies as appropriate. We bring in representatives from industry, academia, wherever that is most appropriate. And then, so from there, I will turn it over to Sagar.
Yeah, so thanks, Amie. So in next couple of slides, I would like to, can you go to the next slide, please? Yeah, so next couple of slides, I'm going to talk about what we are offering or what CDMRP is offering. At least these are FY24. As Amie mentioned that it changes each year. So these are all we wait for the budget, we wait for the congressional appropriation, their direction, and based on their direction, it changes from year to year. Mostly they stay the same, but there are instances where programs are added or deleted in different years. Like last year, we had 2 new programs, arthritis and glioblastoma. In FY24, CDMRP offered around 35 programs, which is altogether more than $1.5 billion, which includes different types of programs like cancer programs and others. Let's move on to the next slide, and I can show you some more diversity. So you can see here, there are cancer programs, I think 9 to 10 different types of cancers that we fund. There are neurosciences or neurodegenerative diseases. There are autoimmune disease, immunology-related programs like arthritis, lupus, multiple sclerosis, and all. There are trauma or injury and orthopedic medicine. These are related to combat and maybe not related to. There are spinal cord injuries. And a new program 2 or 3 years back was introduced on toxic exposures. So which is very unique, and this is very much apt for the military population and also beyond that. Other than that, we have infectious disease and other programs too. So what I want to show here, I mean, I'm not reading each and every one, there are too many sub areas, but still you'll get a sense that we have a complete platter for all of you. So it all depends on your research interest and your research areas. You can actually apply for CDMRP funding. There are 2 very unique programs that CDMRP offers. One is peer-reviewed medical, and you can see that it is everywhere. There are 8 topics under neuroscience, there are 7 under autoimmune disease, total 48 different types of topics there. On the other hand, there is another program called peer-reviewed cancer, which is under the cancer. There are 18 topics, and I'll go through those topics so you'll get a sense that what we are offering. And apart from that, there is one unique program, which is rare cancers, that actually is everywhere. I mean, all the cancers, it covers any cancer you just name. It can be rare cancer, provided it follows the definition of rare cancer, which is 6 or under 6 per 100,000 each year in US, the incident rate. Next slide, please. Okay, so in this slide, you can see that these are the different portfolios of peer-reviewed medical science. Okay, so this one which shows like they have autoimmune disease, cardiovascular health, infectious disease, and all different kinds of types of research like computational biology, precision health. Again, I'm not reading everything. They have also another unique portfolio called rare disease. I just mentioned about rare cancer. We also fund on rare diseases and different conditions. Now, remember that all these topics, like 42 topics we had for FY24, these are all mandated by Congress. We cannot actually come up with any particular area, and it changes. It changes from year to year. So we do not know what they are going to mandate us for FY25. So wait and watch for the program announcement. Next slide. So these are the 18 topic areas which were offered in FY24 under peer-reviewed cancer. Again, it's same as peer-reviewed medicine. It can change from year to year. Last year, we had these 18 topic areas like bladder cancer, blood cancer, brain, colorectal, endometrial, esophageal, and all of them. I'm not reading them. I would suggest you, if you are interested in the varied type of cancers, please visit our website. Please visit PRC website, and you'll find all the details. So, and look for the FY25 program announcement. There could be some changes. Next slide, please. I think, Amie, you are, oh no, it's me. Okay, yeah. I got confused about it. So these are some facts and figures. Again, I'm not going through each information, but you can see there is a differences of programs and how they actually differ from one to another. So breast cancer, as Amie mentioned, was first initiated in FY92, and after that, there are so many cancer programs were included, including, say, ovarian cancer, prostate cancer, melanoma, and the last one was glioblastoma in FY24. And also appropriations are very different. Breast cancer has the maximum appropriation, which is 150 million. On the other hand, our smallest one, I think, glioblastoma, which is 10 million. Next slide, please. There are also different other research programs like alcohols and substance abuse disorders, ALS, Alzheimer's, autism, and many other programs which started in some very early in FY7, and then there are also keeping new programs in the CDMRP portfolio. So throughout, and also the appropriation differs. Like alcohol and substance abuse is only 4 million. On the other hand, there are few programs which are like ALS is 40 million. These appropriations may change or may not change. Again, these are not in our hand. We look for the budget and congressional appropriation. Next slide, please. So every CDMRP program actually develops an investment strategy depending upon what are the strategic drivers or their tools. So the first thing is congressional language. We all wait for what are the direction we receive from Congress. The second thing is that we discuss with our senior leaders and most importantly, the programmatic panel. Maybe some of you in these meetings have served as a programmatic panel member, which includes definitely scientists, clinicians, and also patients and caregivers. So as Amie mentioned that consumers are actually the true north of CDMRP programs, and we incorporate them each and every aspect or phase of CDMRP process. Other than that, we go through the research landscape, funding landscape, federal, non-federal, everything. Try to determine the research capability, clinical gaps, and then what kind of emerging technologies like AIs and other things that we are now critically thinking on, and how it can impact each program. So the funding strategy, it changes, it actually differs from one program to another program based on need and requirement. Next slide, please. There are different types of awards that we offer. Again, it spanning from initial concept, early or maturing ideas, preclinical translational things, clinical team science, research capabilities, all different types of funding that we offer. Next slide, please.
I'll pick up here.
Yeah, sure.
And so kind of along those ways, I think we just wanted to highlight a few examples of some of our targeted types of mechanisms. So a lot of programs, a lot of fields are trying to build research capacity. And the way they have chosen to do that is to invest in early career investigators. And we different programs do that in different ways. One thing that has taken off over the last several years, spearheaded by the Ovarian Cancer Research Program, is this concept of virtual academies that really aim to build collaborations and communities and bring people into a field, but then also keep them there once they're done with their initial Academy Award. So we really want to build those bonds and build strength and give people a community outside what they might otherwise have, whether at their institutions or the regular meetings they attend and whatnot. This is, and I just want to put out the disclaimer that any of the programs and examples listed on this slide are representative examples. This is not an exhaustive list of all of the programs that offer early career investigator awards. This is not all of the programs that offer clinical trials, but just an idea of the variety that do. So we have a couple of program-specific academies with the ovarian, the kidney cancer, and melanoma research programs. But then the peer-reviewed cancer research program, it's a little bit unique. Like Sagar talked about how it's many different cancer types. Those specific cancer types can change from year to year. So it's really more of a virtual cancer center that really tries to bring people together based on the commonalities that exist across different cancer types rather than getting people invested into any specific cancer type research. Then the epilepsy research program is a little unique in that it's not just meant for early career investigators, but it's also more broadly meant to bring people new to post-traumatic epilepsy research. So whether they have traumatic brain injury background, but not necessarily an epilepsy background, or epilepsy, but not really in the post-traumatic brain injury background context, really try and bring all of these people together, prove the resources at their disposal and the collaboration. So it's a little bit unique in that aspect. But then other programs, even if they don't offer an academy type mechanism, many of them will still offer mechanisms, funding opportunities that are specific to people in earlier stages of their careers. The prostate cancer program, multiple sclerosis research program, those are just two examples. But as Sagar mentioned, we fund the whole spectrum of research from early ideas all the way up to clinical trials. And those what makes a clinical trial is pretty broad depending on the scale, what exactly is the intervention being tested, and so on. So once again, each program will have a clinical trial funding opportunity based on the resources it has at its disposal. So a smaller program may only be able to offer something like a pilot clinical trial versus really large phase 2, phase 3 clinical trials. The breast cancer research program is one that comes to mind that has funded in the past phase 3 clinical trials. So again, if any of these things are sounding interesting or applicable to what you're looking for, the best thing you can do is really just, as you're probably already tired of hearing Sagar and I say, but really checking out the individual web pages for each program of their interest, seeing what they've offered in the past, seeing what they're currently offering. We do fall under the Department of Defense. And so military relevance is a key area of interest for many, not all of our programs in some way, shape, or another. Different programs have different ways of asking for military relevance, requiring it. Again, these are when you're reading through our funding opportunities and putting together your applications, really paying attention to how the program is asking you to address this. And for different areas, it's going to be easier, more obvious ways to connect the dots than others. But just as some of the examples, how different of our programs are showing examples of relevance to military populations, those are on the slides. Service members are 50% greater risk for developing ALS. Female active service members, particular age range, have higher incidence rate of breast cancer as opposed to the regular population, and so on and so forth. So that is just something that's pretty near and dear to all of our programs. So how we've mentioned once or twice our program cycle, our two-tier review process, stakeholders, and how does all of that come? And so that's what this graphic is really meant to convey, how each program has, if it's a new program, it will hold an initial stakeholders meeting to get the lay of the land and identify key needs and so on and so forth. But then there is a vision setting more or less annually for just about every program. And again, that's an annual assessment of those needs and priorities and identifying which of those the program is in a position to try to address. This is put out and worked on with the programmatic, which is a multidisciplinary panel of experts in the field, again, whether they're clinicians, scientists, consumers, other funders, and so on. Once an investment strategy is agreed on and funding opportunities are decided on, they're released, applications are submitted. Some programs will do a pre-app selection process where only a certain set of pre-applications are invited to submit full applications. Others will only require a letter of intent, and no invitations are required to submit full applications. Once we get all of the full applications in, then we have our first tier of review. We have peer review, which is our scientific assessment, where all of our applications are reviewed, compared to a golden standard. There's no comparison one application to another, but all of the peer review criteria are listed in all of our funding opportunities so that both the applicants and peer reviewers are same information as to what we're looking for in each mechanism. Once all of the applications are peer reviewed, then the highest subset are sent on back to programmatic panel for programmatic review. The peer reviewers are completely distinct from the programmatic panel members. If someone serves as a peer reviewer for one fiscal year, they cannot be on the programmatic panel, and vice versa. And so then the programmatic panel is really looking at which of those highest scoring applications are best meeting the intent of what the program's trying to accomplish, what the funding opportunity was hoping to address, and so on, whatever those programmatic review criteria are that are listed in the funding opportunity. And we don't have a pay line. We don't get a list of peer reviews, go down and say, okay, that's our pay cut. We really do look at how well the application is meeting what the intent is and portfolio composition and all those things. So if we have two applications that score scientifically similar, one might get funded over the other because it's meeting the intent of what the program is rather than the other one. Once the funding recommendations are made, the applications recommended for funding enter our awards management cycle. And we collect annual progress reports to track how things are going. And then once awards are closed, we have certain processes in place to then follow on to how things are progressing after this. I touched on some of these already, but again, this is really a partnership, the two-tiered review process. They are complementary to each other. They're not redundant. So we work very hard to make sure that the reviewers and the programmatic peer reviewers and the programmatic reviewers understand that they're not doing the same thing twice. Peer reviewers are given their task and the programmatic are given theirs. If you want to find out more about this, you can go check it out on our website. And so did you want to take it from here, Sagar? Or?
Sure. So, okay. Now, those who, after a nice lunch, who are feeling sleepy, this is the time to wake up. I'm going to share with you in the next couple of slides the application process and some very important tips which may help you to crack through. I know that some of you are very happy you have received CDMRP awards, some of them are not. So let's just go through it and try to give you some interesting updates that what you can do so that you can better your application process. First thing first is let me go through that how these funding opportunities are released. Just now, Amie mentioned about the vision setting meeting. Each year we have vision setting meeting, and after vision setting, we strategize our investment strategy, like how we are going to invest the program appropriation, what kind of program announcements are we going to release. It may vary from year to year based on our research, the research gaps, funding gaps, and all. So the first thing that we do is whether budget is passed or not. If the vision setting meeting is over, we announce the pre-announcement, which is for next year what we are going to offer. Like I can give you some example. Those who are who are enrolled in EBRAP, you might have received emails from Ovarian Cancer Research Program, Breast Cancer Research Program, PRMRP, Vision. Some of the programs who actually have done their vision setting meetings, and we already announced the pre-announcement that what you are looking for. These are not the program announcements. You can also find those things in our CDMRP websites. Okay. After that, when the budget is passed, the bill is signed, then we are ready with our program announcements. Then we release our program announcement. Again, people who are enrolled in EBRAP, they will get the email blast. And those who are not, you can visit our website or grants.gov, and you will find all the postings there. Okay. So then what you need to do is find the CDMRP funding opportunities, find the programs, and in the website you'll also find more about it, that what you are looking for based on your subject areas, your areas of interest, your field of interest, whether basic science or translational or clinical trials or early career. Go and look for those program announcements and then read it properly. Next slide, please. So this is a slide that I'd like to give you some idea about the EBRAP system, or how we collect the program announcement and then what happened. So the preliminary stage, what happened is that after the applications are submitted, it's submitted through grants, EBRAP and grants.gov, and then the pre-applications are submitted in some programs, not all of them. Some of them, they have pre-proposal, some have letter of intent. Pre-proposal, usually it goes through a screening process. And if the program announcement says that it has pre-proposal, then you need to submit it, wait for the deadline, and after the screening is done, those who are screened, who got a favorable decision, will get the invite letter, and the rest won't. So as soon as you receive the invitation letter, then you should work on your full application, okay, and submit it through grants.gov. For the extramural, for intramural, it is EBRAP. There are another set of applications which are letter of intent. For letter of intent, we usually do not ask for, it doesn't go through any screening process. Usually it's very small. And again, there is, after letter of intent, there is a deadline for full application submission, and you need to follow that. So after the proposals are submitted either in grants.gov or in EBRAP, then there are 2 to 3 days usually for verify the application. You can do it and then finalize it. Then it goes to the peer review process for first tier review. Next slide, please. So when you are planning to apply for the funding, make sure that there are few things that you need to be very careful. So first thing first, you need to understand the goal of the program, not only the program, but also the mechanism. Everything we try our best to put in the program announcement. Read it very, very thoroughly. Like when you go for market to buy a real estate or house, your real estate agent always tell you the location, location, location. We call program announcement, program announcement, program announcement. So you'll get everything there. There are so many times applicants reached out to us and asked us about with different questions. We actually direct them to the program announcement. You'll find everything there. If not, if we find, I mean, it's not that it's like 100% foolproof. We collect those information and we try to revise, we try to better our process each year. So first do that. Now, remember, so go through the program goals, focus areas. What is the award is intended? Their intent is, I mean, what they are looking for. And for that, whether you qualify for the application for this mechanism or not, what are the requirements? Then review criteria is very, very important. So because we usually ask the peer reviewers to forget about anything else, but go through each bullet under those review criteria and match the application, try to find out whether the applicants has been able to address each bullet or not. Based on that, they actually give the comments as well as scores. And most importantly, please stick to the timeline, the deadline. So often we have found that 5 o'clock is our deadline. It was submitted at 5:01. It became non-compliant. So we feel sad for those applicants, and we do not want you to be in this situation. So try to do it one day before. Next slide.
So Sagar touched on some of these, and we're coming up on time. So I'll just go through and reiterate some of the key ones again. So again, strategy for success. Read the funding opportunity. Everything should be in there, but really focusing on making sure your application materials address whatever program-specific goals are outlined there, and make it easy for the reviewers to see how your proposed work aligns to those goals. Impact is a big thing for almost every single one of our mechanisms. So if they ask you for an impact statement, don't phone it in. See what they're asking you to address in the impact statement and make sure you're making an effort to follow those instructions. And different reviewers get access to different statements at different times. So if you think you cover some of your impact, say in the project narrative, you're like, oh, I don't need to rehash it, it's already there. No, either separate it out or make sure you're highlighting the important things. If we ask you to put information in a particular section, then you better make sure that information is where we ask you to put it. Same thing with innovation. If not every mechanism has innovation as a scored criteria, but the ones that do, again, read carefully what that announcement defines as innovative and make sure you're selling how your work is meeting the intent of what that funding opportunity is looking for. Feasibility is a big thing. Grantsmanship, you're selling your work to strangers. So make sure they understand readily, make it easy for them to understand that you know what you're doing and that you can do what you're proposed to do. Planning and timelines, like Sagar says, start early, submit early, having technical delays, having technical issues if you're trying to submit at 11:55 for a midnight deadline and things go wrong. We're not going to allow that to come through. So make sure that you're getting things early and paying close attention to the timelines and deadlines. Like I said, grantsmanship, be clear, be succinct, don't use jargon. Make sure that you're not assuming that, oh, these are experts, they know what I'm saying. All right, last but not least, the best way to know when different programs are releasing their funding opportunities is to subscribe to our email notifications. We don't release funding opportunities like clockwork. Different programs release them at different times. The specific time of year can vary weeks or months from one fiscal year to the next. So instead of just constantly checking our website, please do sign up for our email notifications. You can sign up for as many programs as you want to receive notifications from, so you cast a broad net. So that's definitely important and the best way to keep up with what's going on with CDMRP. And last but not least, we do have a few minutes for questions. Please go to our website. Each program has its own webpage with its own links to important information. So a lot of good stuff out there. So I will stop talking and open the floor.
Hi, yes, this is a question for either of you. Is there a vision set for FY25 yet that you could comment about?
So a lot of programs are having their vision setting meetings currently, yes, but we can't. Some of them are putting out pre-announcements like Sagar mentioned, but we don't actually put out funding opportunities until we have a signed budget. We're not allowed to put them out. So until we get an FY25 budget, there won't be any open funding opportunities. But some programs are putting out pre-announcements for opportunities that they anticipate making available once we do have a budget, assuming we have a budget.
And I would like to add with Amie that this is the time, actually. If you have not enrolled in EBRAP, please do so. You'll get those emails. Usually from October, November to March, April, these are the times all the programs, they actually go through vision setting meetings, and you will start getting the pre-announcements. We will wait for the budget and other for the program announcement, but at least you'll get an idea what is coming for FY25.
Hi, this is for both of you as well. Just wondering, you maybe already answered this, I apologize if you did, but can you apply to more than one opportunity?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you can do more than one, but unlike NIH, we actually, it should be treated as a new application. We do not go for a resubmission. So you will get, if you are not, if your application didn't get funded, you'll get the summary statement, go through the summary statements, try to find out that what are the issues there, either peer review or program review, try to address them, and then repackage it and then submit it again.
Great, thank you.
Do you have any other questions?
And there might be some cases, depending on your research or what you're proposing, where maybe you could apply, submit the same proposal to multiple research programs. That in of itself is not disallowed. However, if the same project is recommended for funding by multiple programs or even multiple funding agencies, you will only be allowed to accept one of those awards. So you're not disallowed automatically for doing that, but you're not going to be able to get funding the same project from multiple sources. All right.
Oh,
Thank you very much for having us. It was our pleasure.
if it's okay, we have one more.
Thank you very much.
Was there one more? Yeah, there is. Okay.
Sure.
I am a cancer survivor that started the ARCH program through a patented AI telehealth. We are funded by NIMHD, and I know that clinical study have verified that veterans or military personnel benefit a lot from the arts, particularly for mental health, PTSD, anxiety, stress management. I was curious, based on some of your opportunity, are you guys interested in funding kind of like arts-based approach that is also innovative to build technology to support remote access and also health disparity?
There are some programs that proposals like that might be applicable for, and it's we today can't tell you go check out these ones because it's really going to depend on the program and the fiscal year. But there certainly have been programs that offer health disparities, survivorship, behavioral health types of mechanisms. Some of the cancer programs and other programs. So certainly, one thing that I didn't mention is that on our webpage you can also go to our funding opportunity archives. And so if you want to see the types of funding opportunities that programs have offered historically, you can certainly do that, and that might give you an idea of where to narrow your focus and attention to for the upcoming years. But again, remember, past offerings doesn't guarantee that the same thing's going to be offered in the future, but that just is somewhere to start while we're waiting to get our FY25 opportunities posted.
And I would like to add that I would like to tease your question in a couple of parts, because you mentioned many things, mental issues, then there are disability. So a couple of our programs like prostate cancer, ovarian cancer, they have health disparity as one of their focus areas. So they actually encourage people to apply for that. And then there are for PHTBI and other programs, they actually cover a few other things that you mentioned. So again, we would suggest you please visit our website and go through our programs to find a better idea.
Thank you, doctors.